Tonight, Renoir showcases how students at the Yellowstone Boys and Girls Ranch have been learning more about culture and cooperation.
This teepee is only one example of activities both students and staff here at the ranch have participated in all month long in celebration of Indigenous heritage. Singing filled the YGBR chapel one November morning. Kids of all backgrounds listened intently to the sound of the hand drums and joined a round dance, led by Northern Cheyenne culture consultant Conrad Fisher.
This is what you'll hear at a powwow.
Who says the presentation was not just a way to bring people together, but a way to showcase Native heritage and how Indigenous people share and preserve their culture and language through song and dance.
I think in this communal setting, it's important for them to really understand where they come from. The heart of any community is the way of life that is there. For Natives, knowing their language and their culture is especially important, especially if they're not in their home setting. Oftentimes there's not enough resources within this kind of setting to really engage the kids to learn about their song and dance, to learn about their life ways, and those are really the fabric of what it is to be Native American.
To Fisher, it's crucial to learn about your personal culture as well as others to help create a more understanding world. He explains that the Treasure State has very diverse Indigenous cultures across it, with 7 reservations that host around a dozen tribes. The Yellowstone Boys and Girls Ranch estimates that roughly 20% of their students identify as Indigenous. But while they celebrate Indigenous culture, they're also taking the time to address one of the biggest issues affecting their community: the epidemic of the missing and murdered Indigenous persons crisis. Charlene Sleeper, a vocal advocate for MMIP victims and families, shared a presentation on the history of these cases in Montana over the years. They focused on some of the common factors in the cases, such as hypothermia and the potential involvement of drugs and alcohol.
At YBGR, we have a lot of residents here that are struggling with substance use disorder. In a lot of MMIP cases, alcohol is a contributing factor because alcohol does hinder judgment and it does cause a lot of poor decision making. So it's a hope that we're able to instill the knowledge in a way that supports their sobriety in the long term, because really we want to be able to instill in them skills that enable them to have healthy long lives.
Sleeper also shared different prevention strategies to help the kids avoid potentially dangerous situations in the future. She says she hopes that by sharing what she knows, she can help mitigate the pain she's seen families of victims of homicide and missing people's cases go through, so that Indigenous people can thrive and continue to celebrate their resilience. And while November is coming to a close, the Yellowstone Boys and Girls Ranch says they will continue honoring Native American culture with their bi-monthly club, Mustang Nation. Run Wadsworth, Nonstop.